Welcome back, everybody, and today we're going to be looking at our latest question and answer. Today's question is being supplied by a non-member who just came to the site, saw our question and answer, and decided to ask a question. Today's question is from Frank, and I'm going to look over and read the question. It states, "Hey Jeremiah, I was wondering, how do you manage to stay lean if you eat heavy foods or you eat a lot at Thanksgiving/buffet? Do you get bloated, or when your body just has a very fast metabolism so you gain no weight?" Basically asking if I have a fast metabolism or gain no weight. "If you do get bloated, how long does it take for your body to go back to normal, or do you just work out to remedy that?" And Frank, this is going to open a whole can of worms, because this gets into our very outside the box thinking. And what Frank is referring to, as many of you may know, as a fun thing, as something that we do for fun. We do something called Fit versus Food, which is a takeoff of Man versus Food, which is on the Travel Channel. Basically, eating challenges to see, these different challenges that are usually 5 pounds or more in one sitting that you can eat. The angle that I take on it is, I maintain about 4 to 5% body fat year round, and a lot of times these competitive eaters, you see them, really, really heavy. And so what my angle on it is, I stay lean. I stay 4 to 5% and do these food contests because I have a giant appetite, and I can do it, but there is a strategy behind it and how I stay lean. And this is where we get very, very outside the box. And in coming weeks, I'm going to talk more specifically about the up-day, down-day diet. The up-day, down-day diet is one day where you eat more food, one day where you eat less. And it's very, we get a lot of flack for it here, but I'm telling you that not only does it work, not only is it easy, but a lot of the research shows that on those lower calorie days, on more of the fasting-oriented days, that it is tremendous for reducing inflammation, that it's tremendous for fat loss, and overall it works very, very good. So that, in a nutshell, Frank, is how we do it. We do alternate day eating, but as we talk about, I'm very clear about, when it comes to any sort of goal, whether it's competitive eating and staying lean, whether it's losing weight, getting ready for a physique competition, there's very specific steps into getting goals. And step one is always to have a very clear vision, very clearly about what you want to do. For me, it's, I want to take on these food challenges. Man versus Food is my favorite show. So I take on these food challenges and then prove my angle on it is that you can stay lean, that you can keep a six-pack while you do these food challenges. And so that's the vision. The strategy is, okay, how do I do it? How do I go ahead and do that? And basically, it still comes down to pure calorie management. There is a specific calorie range that I try to stay within. Whenever, this is just an example, but when I'm trying to lose fat, I will be somewhere in the 2,000 to 2,500 calorie range per day based on the amount of activity I do. And that's how many calories I'm targeting on a daily basis. Now, when I'm in a maintenance mode, typically I'm right around 3,000 calories, meaning I can consume about 3,000 calories a day and maintain my weight. So, traditionally, what we look at is, 2,500 to 3,000 calories per day for a female, under 2,000 calories a day, and that's what you're supposed to eat all the time. Well, what we do is we alter calories. So, very honestly, one day I eat a tremendously low amount of calories, followed by the next day I eat, tremendously much higher. Partially it has to do with getting into those fasting levels, has tremendous benefits as far as, reduction of inflammation, some different things that are generated on those lower calorie days to help with fat loss. But for the most part, one of the reasons why I do it is it's all about calorie management. It's all about calorie balance. And it allows me as a buffer to eat more regularly, to eat more normal, to get away with things I probably couldn't eat regularly and still maintain a calorie balance. And you get all these, traditional fitness professionals, dietitians that will get on their soapbox and start saying, well, you're going to go into starvation mode and you're going to do this and you're going to do this. Well, a couple things. Number one, the research shows that that's not true. And there's a number of different studies that I can quote if people are interested in it. And secondly, the results are no different. The results, in fact, are better. If I can tell people Okay, you have to sacrifice one day, one out of every other day, but you know the next day you get to eat. And if you can pretty much have a cheat meal every other day, if you get to enjoy yourself every other day where your diet's a little more loose, you can stay lean, enjoy what you're doing, basically work out every other day and get great results. Why wouldn't you do that? I mean, I'm living proof that, you know, you can be just as healthy, just as strong, maintain a body fat percentage that I could never maintain before, and get this, you know, all those tremendous results with just as good, if not better, health results, and stay incredibly lean and enjoy what I'm eating. So specifically what we do is the traditional plan that we do is altering our calories. One day up, one day down, and it balances out in the middle. And another way, just real quickly to think about it, is your body is a storage unit. Your body is, yes, starvation is bad, but that we're talking about prolonged days, prolonged periods of time, not one particular day. So whether it's intermittent fasting or alternate day eating, there is tremendous benefit to it. So that, you know, is one of the things. And the other thing, too, that we want to think about is America as a whole. We are trending towards getting fatter and fatter and fatter. So if the dietitians are right, if the FDA is right, whether it's the old food pyramid or the food plate, if all of that stuff is right and all the advice that we're giving is right, then why not only is our country getting fatter, but as we're influencing other nations, why are they getting fatter too? Something has to change, and we believe that we have one of the keys to doing that because it's not as rigid and it is more easy. And when it's ever easier and more effective, you're going to get people that are going to stick to it longer. So so we have the base that we follow, a moderate update, you know, a higher calorie day followed by a low calorie day. There's a million different ways to spin it based on the individual, all which we can help coach you through. And then if I'm prepping for a food challenge, you know, I have a 5-pound Reuben challenge coming up in September. Me and my brother have a 12-pound pizza challenge coming up. Typically, rather than the one up and the one down, the alternate day eating, we'll typically extend that. We'll typically, before an event, do a couple of more calorie-restricted days, followed by the day of feeding, and then follow that by a couple more restricted calorie days. Then we get back into our just, you know, one day up, one day down. If I'm trying to maintain, I'm trying to average on a 3,000 calorie level. If I'm trying to lose fat, it's somewhere in 2,000 to 2,500 calories. Everything I eat, even the food challenges, are logged into our food logging system, and that is because I'm trying to simply average a certain number of calories over a period of time. So, for instance, if I'm eating 3,000, let's do the math really quick. If I'm eating 3,000 calories a day, over a 5-day period, that's 15,000 calories. If my food challenge, let's say, is 10,000 calories, which it has been known to happen, that means over the 2 days preceding, the 2 days following, I have 5,000 calories that I am allotted, which means I average that out over a 4-day period, and that's what I do. And that's what I consume. That's how I stay lean. And for any of my detractors, it's like, okay, I'll take any health test. My health has improved since doing this diet. My performance has improved. My body fat has gone down. And I get to enjoy foods that most regular people don't get to enjoy and stay lean all at the same time. I hope that answers your question, Frank. You can, email me directly for more questions on doing that. There's just the strategy. It's still the maintenance and the precision in the diet. It's just we're accounting for how many calories are in that big meal, and then we're making up for it on other days, so the overall average of the calories is the same. Well, guys, I'm back again, and I forgot to answer two different things in Frank's question, so I wanted to make sure I added to the video. The first question was, do you have a fast metabolism? The second question was, how long does it take to not feel bloated afterwards? And number one, I don't have a fast metabolism. The studies show that about 10% of people in the country are just naturally thin. 25% know how to manage their weight appropriately, and 65% do not know how to manage their weight. I fall in that 25%. My family is heavy, not super heavy, but majority of us are heavy. I would not attribute it to me being in that 10% that can just manage, that does not have to manage my weight. So it is not a metabolism issue. I do have to learn how to manage my weight, and that's what this whole thing is about, is accurately being in that 25% of people that know how to manage their weight. And hopefully we can start a trend where we actually get that number to increase, where more people know how to manage their weight. Yes, after a food challenge I do feel bloated. Yes, my weight will jump up anywhere from 5 to 10 pounds. And that is why we do have those 2 consecutive lower calorie days afterwards. And typically, as long as I get right back on track, after about 2 days, my weight will go back and normalize. So my weight, is low when I do the challenge. It jumps up the next day about 5 to 10 pounds, and then after 2 days of normalized eating and lower calorie eating, it will drop back down into the normal range about 2 days afterwards. I hope that answers your question, Frank. Thanks again for joining us.
You feel that something's wrong, I'll shelter you and keep you warm. I'll never let you walk alone.